Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I will call this Land Use and Transportation Committee meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, March 4th, and it is 8:30 a.m. So I have done the roll. We have all members present with the exception of Vice Chair Reeves. The first item on our agenda is the consent agenda. 2A, the minutes from Land Use and Transportation, February 4th, 2025, and the payment of bills and transfers. Do I have a motion to put that on the floor? Member Duffy, second by Member Abel, I assume. Any questions or concerns about that, the agenda or bills? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you. We have a consent agenda finished. We do not have any appearance by members of the public or county employees that I know about. So we'll move on to departmental matters. First up is Jerry Stokes, 4A1. We have our first item is request approval of resolution for the February 25th, 2025 project and materials letting. Can I have a motion to put that on the floor for consideration? Motion by Member Fagan, second by Member Abel. Okay.
Thank you, Chairman. So this is our county bridge project that we're doing on the Lexington-Leroy Road, and Stark Excavating was the low bidder. And the second project was is a joint culvert project that we're doing out in Cheney's Grove Township. And so this particular bid just bought the material. It's an aluminum box culvert where we're gonna put, the county highway department will put together the box culvert and put it in the ground and backfill it and that type of stuff. So it'll probably take about 6-8 weeks for this to come in. So hopefully we'll do this work sometime this summer. So.
Anybody have any questions for Jerry about that project? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, we have approved unanimously 4A1A. Moving on to 4A1B, request approval of a bridge construction petition for joint culvert replacement, number 1, for Yates Road District. And I have a motion to put that on the floor. A motion by Member Leffler, second by Member Fagan.
So this is another joint culvert project that we're doing with Yates. So these are 50-50 projects to where the town, most of the time we do the work, the county highway department does the work, and then we bill the township for 50% of the project. And so this is a kind of an area where the culvert, there's 2 culverts in the ground and they're not the same size and they're both rusting out. So we're going to remove the culverts and put two culverts that are the correct size for the drainage area. The water does go over the road at this location, so this should eliminate the water going over the road and during heavy rains.
Like today.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions about this project? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of approving 4A1B, request approval of a bridge construction petition for joint culvert replacement number 1 for Yates Road District, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, that passes. We'll move on to 4A1C, request approval of motor fuel tax and highway fund resolutions for Towanda Gridley Road, CH29, section 24-00071-05-RS. May I have a motion to put that on the floor? Member Duffy, and second by Member Abel.
So this is another resurfacing project that the highway department's going to do here in 2025, and it basically right there north of the interstate in Towanda up to the P.J. Keller Highway there. And so it's about 6 miles long. And so so this resolution appropriates the motor fuel tax funds and the highway funds. The approximate cost is right around $3 million. And so we're finalizing the plans on this project now, and we'll be putting it out for bids sometime in April. So it'll probably come back in May for approval.
Anybody have any questions about this project? We're just getting you teed up for a lot of work.
Right. Yeah. Then this is just a straight mill and fill job. There's no cold in place recycle or anything like that. So it'll just be a straight up mill and fill, what we call it.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. All those in favor of approving A1C, request approval of motor fuel tax and highway fund resolutions for Towanda Gridley Road, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. We'll move to 4A1D, request approval of motor fuel tax and matching fund resolutions for Anchor Road, CH7, Section 24-00170-01-RS. May I have a motion to put that on the floor for consideration? Motion by Member Fagan, second by Member Abel.
So this project is actually going to be done in 2026, but it has federal funds, which are that we work with IDOT on. They're called Rural Surface Transportation Funds, and so our allotments are about 1.4 million a year that we get from those type of funds. So usually we're doing like one resurfacing project a year, and so this project is going from on the Anchor Road, going from Illinois Route 9 to Illinois Route 165. And so we got to get this in early with IDOT. We have to do a lot of there's environmental requirements that we need to do, and there's deadlines that we need to meet by probably early fall. So kind of want to try to get out ahead of this before all our construction projects start. So this really just authorizes the funds for us to begin the design work, get the environmental clearances, and start that work. And then the county matching side of it is, so on these federal funds that I had mentioned are 80-20 split. So we have to match 20% of the project, or of the 80% of the funding that we use. So that's where the county matching fund comes in. There's probably a potential that if they do release another round of TARP applications, that we would probably, this would be a good candidate for truck access route funds to basically, we'll do the design to upgrade it to 80,000 pounds, but the truck access route funds will, they pay 45,000 per lane mile. So that'll just be additional funding that we could use towards the project. And so then we wouldn't have to and so we can use those TARP funds as our 20% match to the federal funds. So assuming that we can they haven't come out with a new program yet for the future years, so hopefully that comes out soon that we can apply for this project.
I have a question. So this is a federal 80-20 match. Is the 80% already released, or is that still to be released?
It hasn't been released since, I guess. Well, actually, yes. We just received the allotment letter last week, so it is in our balance. We're already doing a project here in 2025, and so this is for fiscal year 25-26.
Okay.
So,
Anybody else have any questions?
So Jerry, that would be incumbent upon doing the initial engineering work and all of that in order to get the money, correct?
yeah, we do have to get the environmental sign-offs approved ahead of time before we can proceed to letting.
Any further questions? Okay, we'll be voting on 4A1D of request approval of motor fuel tax and matching fund resolutions for Anchor Road. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. We'll move to 4A1E, request approval of highway fund resolution for Cooksville Road, CH17, section 24-00039-06-RS. May I get a motion to put that on the floor? Motion by Member Zebar, second by Member Abel.
So this is a project is just in the municipality of Cooksville, or the village of Cooksville. And so it was done back in like 2012, and it's just cracking up really good, or really bad. So we're going to, it's kind of a smaller project, so we're going to try to get this done here in 2025 as well. And so we're looking at April letting on this project coming up this summer. And then, so we're doing that part in town, and then south out in the rural area on the Cooksville Road, from Cooksville down to Route 9, we're going to do a pavement preservation as part of our oil and chip maintenance program, to where we're going to put a we call it FA4 rock and a cover seal on that section, just to kind of preserve the pavement for as long as we can.
Anybody have questions about that project? Go ahead, please.
Due to the limited access from the south to Cooksville, how long do you anticipate the entire project taking before they'd be able to resume their south access?
Probably like 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a quick hit project. So
Okay. Thank you.
sure.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, I will be voting on 4A1E, request approval of highway fund resolution for Cooksville Road. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. We'll move on to 4A1F, request approval of resolution and intergovernmental agreement with Illinois Public Works Mutual Aid Network. And may I get a motion to put that on the floor? A motion by Member Fagan, second by Member Duffy.
So the McLean County joined the IPW man back in July last year, and so brought the kind of similar agreement through the board at that time. And then in October, they decided that they wanted, instead of being just a nonprofit corporation, they were wanting to be an intergovernmental agency. So so they wanted us to basically redo this resolution and redo the agreement to make it official. And so this is a network to where we can, if another county has like a disaster such as a tornado or something like that, we could provide equipment or services if they so request, or vice versa. If we had a natural disaster, we could request a bunch of trucks or equipment to come from other counties or municipalities. So it can go from county to county, county to townships, and that type of stuff. And so the city and the town, I think, are both in it, and we do have some townships in the county that are in that as well.
I have a question. This feels a little bit maybe ungenerous, but I don't mean for it to. But like when this sort of situation happens, and say we send several of our trucks and staff there, do we still have liability for if our machines get damaged? Like, how does that work? Is that held with the mutual aid, or is that something that you retain? You retain liability for your own?
I think we retain liability for our own, and unless it's a blatant fault of
Somebody else.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else, please?
I believe I read in there where the request does not have to be granted if it's a widespread disaster, and we have greater need locally than to assist, we can refuse.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, we're not obligated by any means to provide anything. We're just available to help if needed, or if we need to request help, that we can do that as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Any further questions? Okay, so we'll be voting on 4A1F, request approval of resolution and intergovernmental agreement with Illinois Public Works Mutual Aid Network. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes unanimously. So we will move on to your last item, 4A1G, request approval of amended intergovernmental agreement for Route 66 bikeway development and maintenance. And can I get a motion to put this on the floor? A motion by Member Loeffler, second by Member Duffy.
So the McLean County and municipalities of along Route 66 have had an intergovernmental agreement since 1999 that spells out the breakouts of each municipality and what they owe per project, and some of the maintenance responsibilities. And so and also so then there's also certain particular funding sources in that old agreement that are no longer valid, so they're kind of obsolete. So we decided what we wanted to do is kind of basically amend the agreement to update the population, because that's how the breakouts for the municipality update based on the 2020 population, and then take out some of the specific funding sources that were in there, and so that way, if different funding is available in the future, we would have more opportunity to, and we're not locked to certain types of funding sources. So this is actually a good time to do this, because Friday, the last section down to McLean is on the construction side is getting let, and that was kind of the project where we've had phase one approved for about 20 years, and so that's gonna be the last project we're gonna be moving forward. And then administration's been working on they received a RAISE grant to continue the phase one approval going in from Towanda north to Chenoa. And so And so then, that project's 100% funded, so there's no match. And so, so once that gets approved, then hopefully, if we don't get any other grant sources, we would be able to go back to the ITEP funds and apply for the grant applications at that point to continue the construction moving north.
Anybody have any questions about this? Okay, we'll be voting on 4A1G, request approval of amended intergovernmental agreement with Route 66 Bikeway Development and Maintenance. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. Okay, Jerry, so we'll move on to 4A2. Do you have any project updates for us today, or?
No, I mentioned that the bike trail is going to be on the IDOT letting on Friday, and then we also have another, one of our PJ Keller Road projects that's using the federal funds that I mentioned earlier is on that same letting on Friday. So,
Any final questions for Jerry? Okay, thank you so much. Moving on, we'll go to 4B. Phil Dick with Building and Zoning, and we have one item for consideration today. This is 4B1A, request by ACJL LLC by Nicholas Tipsword in case S-25-01 for approval of a waiver of preliminary plan requirements and approval of a one-lot subdivision final plat for the Tipsword subdivision, which is an old township road at 20633 East 950 North Road, Bloomington, Illinois. And may I get a motion to put this on the floor for consideration? Motion by Member Leffler, second by Member Duffy. Floor is yours.
Thank you. This is for the Tipsword subdivision. I handed out 2 different aerial maps for you to see where this property is located in Old Town Township. It has been reviewed by the County Highway Department, the Old Town Township Road Commissioner, and the County Health Department. They've recommended approval of it. This will be for a house for the mother of the owner of the property. They'll have to come through for zoning to get a special use permit as well. This lot contains 3.32 acres in area, and it will be using an existing driveway that is attached to the farm, but it also, as a requirement for subdivision rules, has its own frontage on a public road, and that's why it looks a little bit odd. You can see the survey that was attached with the report, and the driveway to the street is most likely going to be used indefinitely, and if worse comes to worse, at some point, if they need to install a driveway with their own access, they would be allowed to do that. Nick Tipsword is here if you have any other questions that about what's going on with this, but it completes our requirements as far as a preliminary final plat. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions either for Mr. Dick or for Mr. Tipsword? Mr. Dick or Mr. Tipsword? Do you want me to bring Mr. Tipsword forward, or do you want to?
No, I'm sorry, it's for Phil. So this cannot be further subdivided, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions or issues? Okay, seeing none, we'll be voting on, I've already lost my track of myself, 4B1A, request approval by ACJL LLC by Nicholas Tipsword in case S-25-01 for the approval of a waiver preliminary plan requirements and approval of a one-lot subdivision. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. Mr. Dick, do you have anything else?
I have nothing else. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Then we'll move on to 4C, Cassie Taylor with County Administration.
Thank you, Chair Klein. I have nothing to present to this committee this morning.
Okay, then moving on to other business, which is number 5. Our next committee meeting date will be April the 8th at 8:30 in the morning. And unless anyone has anything else to bring up, I will adjourn this meeting. Thank you so much for your time.